What is going on out there, peeps? It seems like every time I turn on the news, they're always doom and gloom. They never have anything positive to say. They just don't. I had to hear all day long about how terrible Thanksgiving is and how the white people came over here and screwed over the Indians. It's like, okay, we get it, guys. We know. There's a past. What does it got to do with now? Seriously. It's like these people just want to have a mourning every Thanksgiving. We get it. We know the history. Get over it already. What I don't like is this attack on every single damn holiday that we have here inside the United States, whether it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, one thing after another. All they do is complain, and somehow it leads to that racism. Yeah, everything is racist. I get it, but I'm also tired of it. As a person who is Mexican, I can't stand these things anymore. Before I used to think they were entertaining. I just sit back and watch the media cause racial tension between black and white people and just say to myself, boy, it's crazy that they're actually falling for this and fighting with one another. What happened in our past has nothing to do with us today, and I don't care what people say. I'm just tired of it. Another thing that I'm noticing is this attack on people, especially individuals who are Trump supporters, people who can give him large money, donate large money to his campaigns. If you're a supporter of his, you get attacked, you get smeared. If you are not supportive of this political correctness agenda, you get attacked. It's just the craziest crap going on in the media. Here's the thing that gets me. Everybody's into this cancel culture, which is hard for me to believe that black people support this. And the reason for that is cancel culture originated during the 60s when they were trying to silence the voices of civil rights leaders. Eartha Kitt was complaining about, the Vietnam War, and they tried to smear her, ruin her career. Muhammad Ali spoke out against the war. They attacked this man, and it caused him to lose 5 of his prime years for boxing. They went after people like Malcolm X. They wanted to silence him, so there was a cancel culture that was involved. So it is kind of a trip to see black people take a part in cancel culture. That's something I can't get into, although I can understand it sometimes because some of the crap that I see out there, I'm like, no, those people need to go. It's just ridiculous. But I am shocked at the amount of people who are just falling for the BS that's coming from the media. It's really sick to see. And not just that, the people from the left actually pumping out the most ridiculous crap out there. It's just hard to sometimes digest. I'll show you what I'm talking about. We're definitely going to get into Jerry Jones. He is a Trump supporter. He can donate a lot of money, like I was saying. And the media has dug up a picture from 1957. Yeah, to smear Jerry Jones. That's what they're doing. Before we get started, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. Everything about buying gold and silver, go to our friends over at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you'll get an additional ½ ounce of silver. So here's one of the things that came out today. Somehow the Washington Post dug up a picture from 1957. This is what these people from the left do. When they want to smear somebody, they're going to go through your entire life with a fine-tooth comb. Obviously, the person in the circle is Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. He was 15 at the time this photo was taken. What we're seeing here is the attempt of black students trying to enter into a school. It's been desegregated, and a group of students decided to try to block them from entering. Now, when I first saw this picture, before I read up on it, I said to myself, how do they know that Jerry Jones is there to participate in blocking the black students from entering? Or is he just a person who's a looky-loo? Is he just being nosy and was just paying attention to what was happening? And that was it. There's no way to know unless you could read the mind of Jerry Jones. It's ridiculous to make any assumption about what we see in this picture. Now, it wouldn't be very hard to make an assumption on what this guy right here is thinking. There's no doubt about it. So before I get into Jerry Jones' story just a little bit more, I'm going to show you another ridiculous thing I heard today. I could not believe it was said, but given who the information came from, it's not shocking nor surprising to me whatsoever.
Stands on the basis of facts. There is no doubt that we have been impacted. That DNA in the trajectory of slavery to today. For example, at COVID, black African Americans got COVID at a rate nearly 1.5 times higher than that of white people.
Yeah, actually, that part's true. I did a video and got in trouble for it, saying that all this is a continuation of the eugenics program. I mean, there's overwhelming evidence of it. Just take Bill Gates, for instance. Both his parents were involved in eugenics. So why would they be surprised that COVID would disproportionately attack minorities? I mean, all you got to do is a little research and find out about it.
Hospitalized at a rate nearly 4 times higher and 3 times likely to die. COVID hit us very desperately. Interestingly, a recent peer-reviewed study from Harvard Medical School suggests that reparations for African Americans could have cut COVID-19 transmission and infection rates both among blacks and the population at large.
Yep, you heard it. Had black people been paid reparations, the infection rate and death rate would have been drastically reduced. So the cure for black people when it comes to the RONA is reparations? Really? This is the kind of nonsense that's going out there. Sheila Lee, one of the race baiters in the Democratic side, letting the world know that there was a study that came out that said had reparations been paid to black people, they would have saved more lives and less people would have been infected with the RONA. Well, the other reason why you might have had a big outbreak within the minority communities could have been the fact that there was a lot of Black Lives Matter riots and protests that went on for 200 days and nobody wore masks. So that could have contributed to it, but the fact that there's a study out there, the fact that she's actually repeating it is just mind-blowing to me. So reparations could have saved black people's lives from the RONA. For some reason, it reminded me, remember Hank Johnson, a Democrat, who asked an officer in the military if enough people were on the island, could the island flip over? I'm not even kidding you.
This is a island that at its widest level is 12 miles from shore to shore, and at its smallest level or smallest location, it's 7 miles between one shore and the other. Is that correct?
I don't have the exact dimensions, but to your point, sir, I think Guam is a small island.
Very small island, and about 24 miles, if I recall, long. So 24 miles long, about 7 miles wide at the least widest place on the island, and about 12 miles wide on the widest part of the island. And I don't know how many square miles that is. Do you happen to know?
I don't have that figure with me, sir. I can certainly supply it to you if you'd like.
Yeah, my fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
We don't anticipate that.
All I kept thinking was the bulk of the Democrats ask these types of questions, say these types of things, and I'm asking myself, are they being serious? Are they trying to do fear porn? Are they really trying to scare people? Or do they actually believe that? Hank Johnson wanting to know if the island got any more populated, could it tip over? That's what he asked. Sheila Lee telling us that there's a study out, and she actually repeats it, that claims had black people had reparations, the number of corona cases would have been drastically reduced. These kind of claims are so ridiculous. It's just unbelievable. Getting back to Jerry Jones. Like I said, Jerry Jones, he was in the picture. You know, my first thought was, how do you know what he's thinking? Was he just being looky-loo, or was he actively participating in the protest? Washington Post unearths a 1957 photo of Jerry Jones and a crowd blocking black students from entering school. So this tells you right away that the media is always and constantly actively looking for dirt on people who don't agree with their agenda, especially if you're a Trump supporter. I mean, they will go after you. Look what they did to Kanye. Look what they've done to Candace Owens. They take Kanye's words for the most part, twist them around. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, so why are they unearthing? Why are they digging is probably the bigger question. Said when Cowboys owner Jerry Jones was 15 years old, his hometown of Little Rock, Arkansas was the epicenter of the civil rights movement. Amid efforts to integrate local high schools, protests erupted. White students tried to block black students from entering the building. In a new article regarding the potential influence of Jerry Jones over the NFL efforts to improve its admittedly woeful record of hiring minority head coach, the Washington Post unearths a photo of a 15-year-old Jerry Jones. There he is, standing amongst the protesters at North Little Rock High School, blocking the path of 6 black students. So you can see right here what the real goal is. You know, Jerry Jones is more about the people who's most qualified get the job as head coach. And although the NFL is lacking minority representation in the head coaching spots, I don't think it's right for them to force team owners to hire black coaches just because they want to fill a quota. That's not right. My thing is you hire the person who best qualifies for the job. Trying to force team owners to hire minorities just because doesn't make it right. I mean, how many Mexican head coaches do you see out there? How many Japanese or Chinese or Korean or Filipino head coaches do you see out there? We're not running around complaining about it. We love the sport. We want to watch the sport. For me, I want you to hire the person who's best qualified to do the job. And I don't care what color of skin they are. Green, black, yellow, red, brown, aliens, females, trans. I don't care. If the person could do the job, by all means, hire them. I'm not worried about their skin color. I'm not worried about their sexual orientation. All I'm worried about is, can a guy take my team to the Super Bowl? That's it. 65 years later, Jones attributes his presence to a curiosity that defied the orders of his football coach. Jim Albright, per Jones, told the team that he didn't want to see any of you knotheads near the front of the school tomorrow. So Jones claims, because really, what can he really say about the picture? That he was just there to watch, not participate. So that's what I'm saying. All right, these people are going to try to act like they got into the mind of a 15-year-old Jerry Jones from 1957 and assume that he was there to protest instead of just being nosy. That's the whole thing. Why dig up this picture? Why write these articles? This just contributes to the already abundance of racial tensions that the media has continuously fed into for quite some time. Like I said, look, there's no Mexican coaches that I'm aware of, but I don't care. I'm not running around talking about how our group of people is not being represented well. That's the same with any other job. Look, if you want to qualify for these jobs, then you go out there and be the best candidate you could possibly be. That's all you could do. What I feel like doing just for shits and giggles is start a petition and start complaining that there's not enough Mexican representation. And just keep it going. Then after that, just say there's not enough Filipino representation. And then I'm going to go in there and say there's not enough Mexicans in the NBA. And I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to say there's not enough blacks in Major League Baseball. That's another thing. There really isn't a lot of black people in Major League Baseball. And when I say that, it blows people's minds. They're like, what do you mean? There's all kinds of black people. No, there's not. There's not very many black people in baseball, believe it or not. The vast majority of the people you think are black are actually Latins. They come from places like Cuba, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. So they're not black people. They're what we call Blaxicans. They look black, but they're actually a form of Latin. So, no, I mean, we should start a petition asking for more black people to be involved in baseball. I love that argument because it just blows people's mind. Do you see how ridiculous all this sounds? I mean, seriously, it's just ridiculous. And it just makes me sick to see these types of articles out there. It really does. I mean, is that big of a deal to you guys? Seriously, when I'm watching sports, I'm not really paying attention to the coach. Don't get me wrong. If a team is on a roll, like when Brady was playing with Bill Belichick, well, the fact that they won as many Super Bowls as they did and were constantly in the Super Bowl, yeah, that's going to kind of make the coach stand out a little bit. You know what I mean? But for the most part, I could care less. And the left just feeds into it. They feed into it over and over. So you guys let me know what you think. How many of you out there really believe that reparations would have cured black people of the RONA? And how many of you out there really believe that Guam would flip over? A 209 square mile island. How many of you believe if it gets overpopulated, it'll flip over? And also, do you really care about a picture of Jerry Jones from 1957? You know, for the most part, it doesn't look good that he's in the picture, but nobody could claim they know the mind of Jerry Jones when he was 15 years old. Is he there actively participating in blocking black students from going to class, or is he just being a looky-loo? Look, I'm not Jerry Jones. I don't pretend to be Jerry Jones. If I was, I'd be very happy about my $5.7 billion. Actually, it's higher than that, which is kind of weird. 5.7 more? More. 5.7 more. I was going to say, this guy's worth way more than $5.7 billion. But the fact that it was in the news today, these are the kinds of things I was coming across going, are you serious? Why is this even news? This kind of stuff is just ridiculous. I mean, they have nothing better to do. And I noticed that these types of articles constantly come out, whether they're attacking Elon Musk, Kanye West, Dave Chappelle, cancel culture. It's hard for me to believe that black people support cancel culture, considering cancel culture first started during the civil rights movements. It was a way to silence black people, and to see them actively participating in cancel culture is mind-blowing. Anyways, you guys let me know what you think. I'll look forward to your comments, and I will catch you later. I'm out.